To round out our series, when you're in months 12 to 17 and doing EC, what can you expect? What's going to happen? When are you supposed to get out of diapers? When does X, Y, and Z happen? And what is normal? Even if you're out of diapers already, you're going to want to watch this episode because it's going to tell you so many things that will happen to your baby developmentally during this age range and specifically how you can support them through it. Please hit subscribe and I will let you know when the next video comes out, and hit like because that'll help more people learn about EC. So today we're going to talk about what happens during young toddlerhood with EC. I know that when I went into months 12 through 17 with my first toddler, he was already out of diapers at 9 months old. But I had so many things to address regarding EC during months 12 through 17, and he wasn't actually totally independent until 17 months. I went into it blindly. Today I'm going to just debunk all the myths and kind of give you a mindset of what to expect during this time. And then you'll know what's going on and what you can expect and how you can roll with these changes with EC. All right, so in the last 2 episodes, we went over the golden window, 0 to 4 month babies, and we went over movers and shakers, 5 to 11 month babies. So just definitely check those out if you haven't listened to them, if that's where you are. If you're just fast forwarding ahead or you're in the young toddler stage right now, I do have a full-on program at Go Diaper Free on this called Passing the Baton. And I have the Ultimate Course Pack, which is all 10 of my courses. That is also going to be linked at on the show notes. So I'll link to all of those so you can get those full programs. They are only about, this one in particular, Passing the Baton, is only about young toddlerhood because boy, are there a lot of things going on. In fact, I have 12 things for you to expect during this period with EC. But first, we're going to go over some developmental averages here that come off of my roadmap that is included in all of my big programs. That shows you this is like literally a road that shows you when certain things happen. So you can look at it along with EC and resistant periods and things like that. So, and I just wish when I was a new mom for any of my 5 babies that I would have had a roadmap like that. It would have been a lifesaver. So let's dive right in. First, with developmental expectations during this age. So first of all, the number one most resistant stage reported by the people I surveyed about 1,000 people in my community. About 70% of people who had resistance had it at this stage of 12 to 13 months old. The second most resistant stage in EC was 11 to 12 months old. The other 2 were in mobile babyhood, so go back to that podcast if you want to see that one. But 12 to 13 months old, why is this the most resistant stage? Well, because a lot of babies are mastering walking at this time. And you think about it in an intact culture, a tribal sort of situation, they would be able to walk right out that hut and go potty by themselves. They don't need you anymore. They're going to resist because they want privacy. They want independence. But we have clothing and potties to deal with, so we definitely have to roll with that resistance. My biggest suggestion is to stick with the 4 easy catches. To stop using diapers when you have your baby start walking, when your baby starts walking. It sounds counterintuitive, but that's really what they're wanting by being resistant. We get more into that in the Potty Pause Resolution mini course and also in the program itself. The 4th stage of most resistance is actually 14 to 15 months. So we do have some in that age range, and I know that it's because they're still in diapers. You really want to stop using diapers when your child stops or starts walking and is really just, they work on it, and then they're walking. So at that point, you want to stop using those diapers. Usually, and that's during the daytime, usually the sleep regressions, if they do happen, there's one at 12 months old. Usually, if it's going to happen, it'll be around then. And again, it's no coincidence that it's during a developmental milestone because that messes with a lot of things. Other thing that happens developmentally is walking is around 12 months old. I get this information from Montessori from the Start. It's a wonderful book with a beautiful graphic of the developmental stages with motor skills. Another thing I got from that book, the hands work together at 12 months. You'll start to see that they work together. Fussy weeks are just past 13 months and 15 months per the not the Wonder Years. Oh, I'm such a child of the 80s and 90s. The Wonder Weeks book and app will show you when fussy weeks typically are 13 months and 15 months. Again, we've got developmental stuff going on. And with 15 months, we've got language developing as well. Daytime trainers. In the daytime, our backups are going to be trainers or undies at 12 months old. By 14 months old, I want you to be daytime in undies. And I don't want them to be trainers, especially if they pee in their trainers once a day or every time you put them on them. You're going to want to move to undies because your baby will synchronize with you and you guys will get on the same page faster and they rise to the occasion. It is unbelievable. If you don't feel ready, they are. So that's what we do with backups at that time during the awake times. Peeing intervals are about 45 minutes, every 45 minutes at 15 months, about 45 to 60 minutes, so almost an hour at 17 months. Some kids will hold it 2 or 3 hours by then. This is just kind of an average. Pooping daily at all this age range if they're on solids and if we're not having issues with constipation, which I do have a podcast episode on constipation and some solutions for that if you're experiencing that. But usually a daily poop is normal. We do drop to 1 afternoon nap. Hooray. You can do more things in your day. Between 13 to 17 months is usually when that happens. Also from the Montessori book, the hands start doing work. And the whole thing, the theme is help me do it myself between 15 to 16 months. And then I put in 15 to 17 months is about when kids really find an interest in practicing wiping, like actually getting some success with it. You might have had them practice wiping before just by blotting themselves with it while on the potty, but now we're getting a little more serious about it. And clothing manipulation. They will end up with their clothing off or they'll have 2 shirts on or whatever. During 15 to 17 months, that really happens a lot. So that's all I want to say about developmental expectations. Again, this is on the roadmap in a really beautiful visual form in the Passing the Baton program for young toddlers, which you can see the show notes for that. Here are the 12 things to expect to change about EC in months 12 to 17. Number 1, the signals, again, disappear and or change. Again, why would your child need you? Why would they need to tell you they need to go if they could just walk outside and go themselves? If you have the opportunity to do that, great. If your child's not signaling, it's just because wiring and all of human history, why do they even need us anymore? They don't. But we have carpets and we have underwear and we have potties and stuff. So we definitely want to teach them how to sign back. I do have a free class called Signals Oh My that really goes in depth into signals and what exactly is going on there. Number 2, we often get potty resistance as an indicator of I need independence and I need privacy. Number 3, language expands. They start speaking with words or they're beginning to use sign language. And even if they don't, you can still stop using diapers at walking, even if your child's nonverbal or has developmental delays. Number 4, what to expect in months 12 to 17, walking if it hasn't already happened. And number 5, more teething. So we want to address the pain, if any, of the teething, comfort them in that way first, and then we will see EC improve. Number 6, we have the beginning of smaller tantrums and asserting one's own will. My third son, Branson, or fourth, he started tantrums at 16 months and he frankly hasn't stopped and he's at 5 years old. So we definitely have that assertion of one's own will, which is really developmentally appropriate and great. But it also shows you, it's time to be wrapped up for sure. Number 7, it's even more important to set up the environment and to enable independence and to teach. So during this time, we call it passing the baton because there's so many things that we can teach them so that they have that need number 2 taken care of. They're not going to have to be resistant because they know all the parts of the process and they've been practicing and you've been teaching some things during non-potty times. So it's really important to set up the environment for success during this time. So you're going to be expected, I expect you to set up that potty station in a way that has little things that they have all in their direct environment so that they can do the whole routine themselves. Because that is what Montessori teaches, and I strongly follow that you need to have this in place to enable independence, and you're going to have to step up to that as a parent during this period. Another thing to expect is number 8, I've mentioned this, is that naps reduce from 2 to 1 per day. So we're going to have a lot more awake time, but we're also going to have a lot bigger intervals between pees. Number 9, long-term repetitive memory capabilities develop during months 12 through 18 per baby center, which basically means you can and should wrap it up during this period. So if you're starting EC during this period, which about 15% of you are, you're not late to the game. This is actually great. You get to start and finish in the same period and usually within the same month, which is awesome. Now, my book, if you don't have it, Go Diaper Free, comes with an optional download called the Hybrid Plan, which I definitely would recommend for this age range as well. Number 10, Baby can begin to prefer the diaper as a convenience. So newsflash, your baby might become lazy and use that diaper as a convenience. When you notice that's happening, it is time to stop using those diapers, period, or you're going to have a really hard time, especially if they start to relax into it around 16, 17 months. You might end up having to do a potty training experience, which is fine. But if we can avoid that, we want to stop using diapers before they start using them on purpose. Number 11, we typically have a daycare or a preschool to team up with, and I do have a mini course on that, Diaper Free at Daycare. It's really, really good and thorough, and it comes with handouts to give the teacher and how to navigate all of this. But in the Passing the Baton program, we cover that a lot. I also have a weekly Zoom group, you guys, where you can interact with other ECers all over the world. It's called the Potty Tribe. Go diaperfree.com/tribe. It's just $10 a month, and we have a weekly group there. So if you're having difficulty with daycare or preschool, it's often helpful to talk it through with a live person. So join us there if you have more issues with that. But also, the book comes with all of this support as well. But if you need to talk to somebody, just like, hey, can you help me hash out a plan? Me and my coaches would love to do that with you. Back to number 12. So the things to expect in this age range, especially if you're a mobile baby and you're like, okay, what's going to happen next? What should I do? You can expect by 17 months that most babies are signaling again, or they're showing clearer signs. We aren't wiping ourselves just yet, but maybe we're trying to do so and we're facilitating them doing it themselves. But really, 2, 3 years old, it might take that long for kids to actually effectively wipe themselves. We're maybe coming up dry at night or during naps. Twyla started coming up dry at 17 months, and we just stopped using diapers at night. All my other ones were around 26 months. And then all of the hundreds of thousands of parents I've helped, it totally varies. But if they start coming up dry at night, you can insert a dream pee, and I'll link to the podcast on dream pees for you there. It's also in the book. But you can insert a dream pee just to help support them being dry at night and stop using diapers if this happens to you. And they're also trying to take off or put on their own clothing, which I also mentioned, which is great, a great opportunity. Maybe get some of those Learn undies that I sell at tinyundies.com. They have the bear on the front of them. It's upside down. So those actually teach self-dressing and help reduce frustration in that. So overall in this period, it's an amazing time. Montessori called this the sensitive period for toilet learning. This is the developmental task for this age range. So if you are in this age range or you're expecting to be soon, hooray, let's celebrate that. Once they have this under their belt, they are opened up for so much more learning, and this really unblocks them to be able to thrive in this world by having that in the bag. That's all I have to say about that. And in the show notes, I'm going to link to that course. I'm also going to link to the Ultimate Course Pack, which is all 10 courses. So if you want all 7 mini courses, which are the biggest trouble that people run into, and you want all 3 of the developmental ages, you do get lifetime access. You can use it for future babies, but it includes the Passing the Baton course and program as well, which is just what I asked people what they wanted to know during this age range, combined with everything I already know about it, and a lot of troubleshooting that is specific to the young toddler. Very different from a mobile baby or a newborn baby. So that's all I have to say about that. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that was really enlightening for you. And those of you with young toddlers, or maybe you're planning ahead and looking ahead, or you've been through this phase before, do you have any tips? Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? Please leave them below. We answer everyone. Hit subscribe and like, and I'll let you know when the next video is up.